Hello, everybody. Welcome to the finale of Strands of Fate, a Therosian Odyssey. I cannot believe that we have made it to the final episode. Look at everyone's faces. I'm kind of sad, but I'm also kind of excited. I have so many emotions right now.
I'm sad.
Yeah, I am high-key sad as well, but it's gonna be a good one if all goes to plan, and if it doesn't, then it'll be a load of chaotic fun, one way or another.
Have you met us?
Yeah, probably the latter, but we'll see where we go.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. I can't wait until my beautifully written story just gets ripped up and thrown out the window. Really looking forward to it. So I will just real quick go around. We're going to introduce ourselves. We're going to say who we're going to be playing. Not the last time. Yeah, the last time. And oh god, that's so sad. And then we will get right into it. So let's start with. I'm going to see who I can see on my screen. Let's start with Lulu.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I am playing Callista, the cleric, who had a vision to bring this party together, and she's still not quite sure why them and why her, but maybe she'll find out eventually.
Maybe. Or maybe she will never know.
Well, just keep on the road then.
Just keep going. Next up, so let's go Lindsay next.
There we go. I should unmute myself. Aha. Hello, everyone. I am Lindsay. I am playing your resident Kenku Ranger Eva. I'm really looking forward to going and yelling at my family hopefully today. So we'll see how that goes for our last game.
We shall definitely see how that goes. Let's go with Kumi next.
Hello, I'm Kumi, and I am playing Kalyuka, the barbarian who ran away from her family of gladiator Goliaths and has found some amazing friends and is extremely happy right now because she's not standing in absolute darkness. Yay.
All the while, all the rest of you are just like, oh, but with still stuff going on, still stuff to address, apart from the Onyx, who's like, my mums are back together. And then there's just Kalyuka like kissing the ground.
Sunlight!
Kissing the sunlight. Like, it's so good to be able to see again. Cool. Speaking of, let's go Joan next.
Yeah, I'm just thinking in my head, like, Kalyuka's like, my melanin is back. But
the sun.
Yay!
Hellion!
I am Joan, and I am playing Onyx, who, like it was previously stated, is just happy to have her two moms back together again, and ready to go on her actual quest, which was figuring out how the fuck she ended up where she is in the first place.
Who am I?
Now we can get back to that.
All right, and last but not least, let's go with the person who has been shouting at me the most this week, Jen.
Hello, my lovely friends. I am Jen. I will be playing your very cranky half-elven wizard, Estrella, who really just wanted to, get some resume credits and get her name out there so she can graduate from Wizard College. Unfortunately, she ended up getting placed with an absolute meathead and his dad. And, things develop, tropes happen. Cat's a kind and giving god. And she is currently absolutely furious and fuming and ready to rip his dad's head off. But for the sake of both everyone's life involved and also the plot and time limits, we will probably keep it to a mild.
I don't know why you're so it's an accident.
I need you all to know that Kat that cat had me roll 10d6 or 10d12 and was like, that's how many of his bones are broken.
We only have
I'm
212
only
bones.
joking. None of you have a sense of humor.
I mean,
we've got to keep
Cassian-
ourselves sane somehow.
Cassian doesn't even have a humorous anymore. Hey.
No, he doesn't.
Thank you, Joan. Anyway.
Cool. I love that you, there was me just like literally like, what's the humorous again? I don't know if that's correct or not. And Joe's like, I got you.
I broke this one.
Right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
It's
so
this.
let's dive straight into it then, shall we? Last session, we picked up immediately after battling with the monstrous Arachne. You very quickly became aware of Bianca's presence nearby and rushed to rescue her, finding that even in her quite weakened state, she was very much a capable woman and ready to defend herself if necessary. It is very clear to you all where Onyx inherited her fighting spirit. She revealed to you that she was visited by a priestess while she was imprisoned in the caves, who was working with Arachne. And this priestess revealed that she was in service to a powerful deity that is testing all of you for some reason. You also rescued another, more recent addition to Arachne's test subjects, a herbalist by the name of Letitia. She suggested staying overnight so that she may try to decipher Arachne's notes and perhaps cure those that underwent the transformation process or were kind of in the process of undergoing that. And working through the night, she succeeded in doing so. But your victorious feeling was rather short-lived. Eva, you dreamt of Crufix, who revealed that his sister, Clothis, has plans for you all and may be the reason that you have been brought together. And Estrella, you received a message from Phaedra, the youngest member of Setessa's ruling council, which planted a seed of worry about the state of your mentor, Cassian. Making it back to Setessa was emotional, as Onyx's mothers were reunited, as were the rest of those that you rescued with their families and friends, and everyone was there to greet you. The meeting between Acrosian and Setessan delegates postponed by a Silverbrow. Everyone, that is, except Cassian. Phaedra took you aside, Estrella, with Eva watching, unbeknownst to you, and revealed that he had been taken to the Hall of Renewal, sort of hospital of sorts, I suppose, following an accident that took place shortly after his father's return. She cited both of these revelations as two separate incidents, but the implication in her description of Lord Commander Ulysses' anger at your disappearance was clear. She also revealed that she herself had little trust in the Lord Commander's intentions for Setessa, and asked to meet you and the rest of your group within the hour so that you may investigate this with her. So we'll rejoin now, Eva, as you disappear into the shadows, having spread your final words to Phaedra, who is sort of looking around, seemingly very confused. And you head back to rejoin your group, arriving there only moments before you watch as Estrella is walking down the path, heading back towards your group. You have witnessed the entire conversation between her and Phaedra, and with your insight, you kind of have some inclination as to some of the stuff that's going on. So as you make your way back, you can see that Onyx and Callista and Kaliuka are stood with Bianca and Daja. And Onyx, you see as Eva comes back, walking back towards you, the two of you lock eyes. You are muted.
I need to not do that. Eva's just gonna give like a little wave to Onyx as they meet eyes, but obviously there's kind of like a look to her right now. That means she might have to dip out for a couple of minutes. Kind of the look that she would have given Onyx, like if Onyx had waken up early in the morning before Eva did her dip out thing, it would be kind of that same look of urgency.
And Astrea, you're just walking down the path now. You're about to head over to the same group, and all of you will see at this point, Darja and Bianca. They're kind of just finishing their sort of reunion. And Darja goes, "Well, if you like, you can return to ours. I can put some tea on if everyone is in agreement. I think perhaps." And she kind of looks at you all, like covered in sort of grime and. A little bit of blood, some of you. Perhaps a little bit of a rest is in order. I know that you must have stayed overnight, but you all look a little bit worse for wear. You're welcome to come to ours.
Thank you so much for the offer. I do have business to attend to, she says between her teeth.
Those of you with an insight,
over 11.
Yeah, what was it? It was an 11. Yeah, those of you with
Yeah.
an insight above 11, which I'm sure is everyone.
I think Eva's insight is actually over double what I rolled for my conceal don't feel roll.
We'll definitely see. Astrea is not okay. She is pretending to be okay, and she is pretending very poorly. She looks perturbed,
incensed.
Incensed. She looks raging. The anger is real.
Are you okay, Astrea? Do you need any help? Or...
I just I have two things. First off, actually, amusingly enough, they're related. It appears that that the person in charge of my apprenticeship has landed in a difficult position, and I have to go and deal with that. And it turns out that the person who is writing my recommendation and my ultimate evaluation, so I can graduate from, so I can complete my education, is both likely responsible, and also there is someone among the leadership of Setessa, she says very quietly, who...
Roll a stealth check.
Oh boy.
Oh.
That's a natural 19. Fuck you!
Oh.
Okay, yeah. She does say very quietly.
And there is one among the leadership of Setessa that is similarly concerned about the intentions of this person. I told her to give us an hour, but we're going to meet with her in an hour because there might be something more to this than meets the eye. Onyx, did you ever, the last time we met, did we spoke about Dion of the Burning Spears? Did you ever track him down? Did you ever find him?
We did.
You did, and?
Complicated. Eva's gonna look a little like sketchy.
What? What happened?
You can sense that underneath it, she's a little annoyed that you kicked her out of trying to help you be safe, especially since you came back all pissy. Not pissy, mad.
That's fair.
But she's also like, Iva and I tracked an associate of his named Guinness, and we found Dion he said that he was hired.
At this point, Eva's going to like clear her throat and do a yum 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 yum, and she's going to mimic his voice and retell what he had originally told Eva and Onyx in his voice.
I freaking love that,
Amazing.
and I know that you can mimic, but I still want a performance check just so that, like, just for me,
Just how
I
good
want
it
you
is.
to know how
Okay.
dramatically you tell this.
Oh, I don't have a lot to performance, but all right, here we go.
Can I give a help action?
That was an 18.
Oh, wait, I will also say in the comments, and this is actually
Ooh.
technically for the roll for luck thing, but I'm feeling generous today. It is our finale episode, so all of you will have inspiration for this
Nice.
episode, which
Yay.
means that you get one roll. I'm going to give you one roll with advantage. Well, you can take it
Oh.
whenever you want. You can tell me that you want to re-roll.
I
if
think
you
I
need
rolled
it.
well enough. I got an 18.
That's fine. I just because I was very aware that you were about to roll. I've only just seen this, so I was like, just in case. Cool. 18. That is a very good. Yes. All of you. Wow. Well. Especially you, Kaliuki. You would certainly appreciate this, being of the arts yourself. All of you are subjected to probably one of the most enjoyable, dramatic performances of some time. Eva proceeds to just like prance around.
It will be a
like,
performance. There will be
essentially
hands. There will
reenacting
be
like a Game of Thrones scene where
A
he's
whole
just, like,
soliloquy.
a whole soliloquy. She's like performing, but then she performs as herself, and then she's like Onyx asking a question, and then she goes back, and you are just like,
Oh, I was
amazed.
gonna say Onyx, once she realizes what is happening, she like plays herself being like, but like a heightened version of like looking like a real tough cop kind of version of herself. And like,
I am absolutely in love with the idea of every so often Onyx forgetting what she said, and then just being like, line.
and Eva will say it in her voice.
So you will
Onyx will just like,
essentially get caught up with the idea that Dion of the Burning Spears was or claims to have been mind controlled in some way by a woman. He remembered there was a woman. He couldn't remember her name. It was something along the line. It began with a H or an E. He couldn't really remember, but he remembered what she looked like. She had sort of long blonde hair. She was very pretty, and he remembered that it was an Acrosian lord, as it were, that was with her, that hired them. But he cannot remember who. The face, when he tried to remember, was masked in shadow.
I have a few
And
more
you are
notes.
all caught up with this information now.
I have a few more
and-
notes I could share on that topic if
Yep,
y'all are
go for it.
interested. Basically, what he said was that after that spell was cast, they did a job. He couldn't remember it, but he felt really guilty afterwards. He learned that Erois was angry with him, and that's why he was competing in the games. One of the people in their party was Tobias, who was from Miletus. Darren Stronghand is the lord that was from some village not far from Akros. And then Commander Elmar Ventress was also involved, but took his own life. And then they also said to ask the bards about the battle ravens. And he said that this is not the type of job the Burning Spheres usually take.
Interestingly, Kaliuka, when the Battle Ravens song is mentioned, that is a song that you know.
This
Um,
song, Onyx, I've heard of it before. What significance does it have to you?
I don't know. He just mentioned it when we were interrogating him. Do you remember any other details, Iva?
Would I remember where this song is popular, or is it like maybe kind of like a sort of secret song specific to any group of people?
Roll a history check for me.
That's dirty 20.
A dirty 20. Lovely. Yes, you know this song very well. I don't know if you have looked into it, seeing as we have talked about it outside the session, but I can send you the lyrics of it.
I just posted them.
I think I have. I think I have that. I have the lyrics with me.
Awesome. Yeah, you know it to be a song. It is a song that is sung. It's quite a famous battle song. It's not particularly sung by like a secret sect or anything like that. But it is particularly popular amongst sort of Cetessan or like female warriors. It's kind of almost like a song of empowerment, and is known to be not only sung sort of during battle, but there are some areas. Yeah, you got a day 20. That's a lot. There are some areas where even great challenges that women face, such as childbirth and things like that, that song might be sung as kind of in order to kind of aid through something like difficult or traumatic like that. It is popular in this area of the world, Cetessa, the surrounding areas of Cetessa, and it is particularly associated it's a song that's actually, many songs are kind of associated with a particular deity, a Theros, and that's quite popular. This one, not necessarily. It is a song that can that many different people that kind of dedicate themselves to many different deities can draw from and find meaning within, and that's actually what makes it kind of stand out a little bit in your head, because most songs, they're very much like that's clearly like a Nilia song, or that's a song for Heliod or whatever, but this one is like, this is a song for the people, and allows them to kind of relate to the world, but also alludes to the chaos of the Nyx and the deities and the influence that they have in our lives.
I think Onyx, without realizing it, starts humming to herself.
You recognize it immediately. She's singing it very well, and as she does, there is this kind of this. I mean, Onyx is quite. She's purple, so she's quite something to behold. Anyway, she's definitely got like the Nyx kind of running through her blood, but there's a kind of this almost like shimmer around her as she sings it.
Just to add and aid her with that, remembering how this has been empowering to women, and we are standing in a group of women right now, all tired and exhausted. I see, Astrea feeling a little worried. I see, inspired by Ava's performance as well, and looking at Callista, who, is still kind of stuck in this notion of why is it that we're all together right now, and just kind of inspire us all to motivate us further. I'm going to join in with Onyx's humming by playing the bagpipes in this very somber tone that matches the song. And just to also to kind of just see, Kaluka doesn't have too much experience in magic, but to see if this kind of helps aid her magic. And Kayu also jumps out, and she's Nyx touched as well. So you can see her hopping around Onyx, in this little dopal aura just radiating from her, and just kind of playing with her at that point.
I think at first Onyx is a little surprised because she didn't realize that she was humming, and then when she hears it, like she closes her eyes and she concentrates for a second, and then the lyrics start coming to her, and she goes, I am one sword out of many, I am one face out of three. The maiden crone and mother live united within me. For I am woman's fury and her honor and her pain. And before this day is over, oh, the blood shall fall like rain.
Ooh, and everyone, and there are some people around you that kind of start clapping. They're very like, "Ooh, that was very good," and the bagpipes and Kaluka. This kind of makes you feel really good because this is what you wanted. You wanted to perform, and as this is happening, Eva, you're kind of like transfixed as to watching them, and you can see that there is something happening here, but your eyes just shift slightly around, as they often do. You're constantly on the lookout of the bigger picture, what is happening around you, and you see a recognizable figure watching you from the shadows. It is Shifter. It is your father, and he watches, and as soon as he catches your eye, he beckons you and then disappears into the shadow.
Yep, Eva is gonna stand around until the song kind of like dissipates, and then she's gonna look over at Onyx and then quickly around at everyone else, 1,000-yard stare on her face, and just be like, I will be back. And then she's just going to disappear.
Naturally, Kaluka and Onyx, you just assume that you sang so terribly that Eva just can't stand to be around. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. So Eva kind of darts off, and Darja and Bianca kind of usher you all, apart from you, Estrella, obviously, who they understand you are off to yourself. They kind of offer, do you want me to show you where to go?
Oh, I'm okay. But Onyx, could I just kind of like hold you back for a sec if you allow her to grab your to like kind of like touch you on the shoulder. I am sorry if I let my emotions get a little bit ahead of me. I did not mean to brush you aside. I wasn't sure what was about to happen. I was confident that I was in no danger given who we are surrounded by. And I suspected that she may not have said anything if we hadn't been alone. Thank you for worrying, and thank you for keeping an eye out for me.
Thank you for coming to me. I want you to know that not everyone here is as safe as they may seem, and
I'm inclined to agree.
Are you okay?
Oh, I hardly know.
If you need my help, you just have to ask.
Give me an hour, and then that is it. And then that is a full and wholehearted yes.
You can rely on me.
All right.
I trust you know how to find my mother's house?
Yes. May I bring Phaedra with me when I come?
Phaedra did basically say that she would come to find you in an hour. So
well, never
most
mind then.
likely she will just know to go to. She's
Fantastic.
the head of the thing, so she will come to find you all.
I amend that to Phaedra will be coming for us in an hour. We could. I'm happy to meet you at your mother's place. I'm happy to meet you in the forest. Up to you.
Phaedra knows where to find my mother's home. I'm sure she would be welcome there.
Beautiful. Then I will see you in an hour at the most.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
Enjoy your family.
And so all of you head off to Onyx's mother's house. Estrella, you head off in a slightly different direction towards the Hall of Renewal.
And actually,
Eva,
just as Estrella is leaving, she's gonna hear in her head, "I hope Cassian is okay. Please let me know if there's anything I can do to help." But she isn't looking at you or anything. You just hear it in your head.
Y'all are fucking breaking Estrella's heart. Like, you're making it so hard for her to stay composed.
Cool. And so, Eva, you disappear into the shadows, and your father, he walks a number of steps in front of you. You're barely able to keep up with him. You're a very quick person, and you've had plenty of training, and when it comes to being around your friends here, no problem scouting on ahead, everything like that. But your father is well practiced, and you barely rush to keep ahead. Just about seeing him turn each corner as you follow, and eventually you kind of get to this point where you cross over a street, and having seen him just disappear down an alley, which is quite close to your home, you know where you're going. You turn into the alley expecting to see him disappear down the end of it, but he's waiting for you right the other side, and he grabs your arm and he says, "Just what do you think you're doing, making such a spectacle of yourself?"
Eva's gonna kind of like shrug her shoulders a little bit and be like, helping my friends?
Friends? Eva. Secrecy is what we are all about. You can't just go gallivanting off.
Yeah, but secrets until they don't need to be secrets. Friends.
Everyone knows who you are. Everyone knows your face. And he is angry. You can see he is furious.
Yeah, but they don't know me.
Come, we're going home. And he keeps walking.
Eva's gonna like defiantly like put her feet down and be like, "No."
Yes. We have much to discuss. Your mother wishes to speak to you.
Oh. Eva's gonna follow after because, once mom's involved, she is not gonna say no.
And you kind of enter. It's on the outside. It's a home, and it's lovely. It's beautiful. Walking in, it is devoid of personalization. There is no homeliness about it. It is a den at best. And the first thing that you immediately notice is you don't really keep much in the way of belongings there anyway. There is always a chance of being caught. There is always a chance of needing to leave quickly. And here you can see what belongings you do have are in the process of being packed up. They are clearly, your family are clearly planning a journey, a quick escape, as it were. And they have already begun packing everything up. And as you walk in, your father kind of says to your mother, I found her. And your mother, you sense tension in the air between the two of them. Your mother, Tiptoe, she grab the pen, run it down. She kind of goes, "You told me you wouldn't be long." And he's like, "I was as quick as I could be. She was embroiled in the celebrations of the day." And he begins to furiously start to pack things up. And your mother turns, settle down, okay? Settle down. We don't need to leave. We need to talk about this.
Eva's going to nod her head vigorously and be like, no, we can't leave. There's too much going on. There's too much to know, and Krupix is not happy.
When you say Krupix is not happy, your father turns, and what would you know of whether Krupix is happy or not?
And she's just gonna kind of look at him once again, clear her voice, taste the air a little bit, and then once again she's going to use her mimicry to mimic her conversation with Krupix that she had.
Oh god, that's gonna be something to behold.
The best of her ability to his voice, though who's know if she's actually going to be able to mimic it, or maybe it'll just be static. I don't know.
That performance. Do that performance.
So a 19.
19. Okay. You attempt to draw upon what you remember of Krupix's voice. And you can mimic, of course, your own conversation perfectly. You remember exactly what you said, and you remember exactly the words that were written in front of you. Krupix's actual voice only really came out in that whisper at the end. So you were kind of drawing on that as your reference point. As you go to speak, silence. You are not able to summon a whisper that sounds like Krupix, but you realize, you adjust, and you turn it into a whisper. It doesn't quite have the maybe impact that you were hoping for. As your performance or your recounting of everything goes on, your father, his face becomes more and more stony. Your mother looks surprised. At the end, after you finish recounting what you talked about, he turns to your mother and he says, now she mocks us with these wild imaginings of being special, being different. This is not what we are, Eva. And your mother, she kind of says, well, surely there are things there that ring true, Shifter.
Dad, what you are is wrong. We need to be better. We are holding the secrets. We are not sharing the secrets that we need to. Krupix is about gathering secrets, but also sharing what needs to be known to make the world a balanced place. And right now, we are holding the power, and we need to distribute the power evenly so we are on an equal playing ground. The Obsidian Talon, we're too much power. We need to give it up. And Eva's going to reach up to her forehead where there's a little white feather, and she's going to pluck it out of her head and be like, we need to be the white feather, not the Obsidian Talon.
There's an element of pride on your mother's face as she kind of looks at your father expectantly. And he turns to you and he says, when you were in Akros, what did you learn?
That there are things going on around Setessa that need to be delved deeper into. There are pawns at play. There are knights at play. Some against their will, a larger chessboard being moved by those in power, and right now it's tilted to one side, and we need to bring it back down and be equal.
Good. That's what I learned too.
But from what I've learned, we have too much power of ourselves in our own faction.
You're wrong. Our faction needs to stay safe in order to look after the entirety of Theros. It doesn't matter, one town, one city, one village, it doesn't matter what happens to that, as long as Theros as a whole remains in balance. And your mother, she kind of sighs, and she's... What you learnt, we have learnt which house it is that is causing these attacks on these villages. It is House Leos.
Eva's gonna think for a second, and then...
They have been
Yeah, that
hiring
makes sense.
bands of mercenaries to do it. They may even have had a hand in the tragedies of the royal family of Akros. So you're right, there is a power imbalance, a big one. And they are planning an insurrection on Setessa in the near future. You know that much of Setessa's in-house army have been sent to the villages nearby because of all of these attacks. They are no longer within our city walls. They are planning something. We consulted the Talon on these matters, and at this point, like, you can see she's looking at your father and she's pissed, right? We consulted the Talon, and he ruled that this secret should be shared. Your father seems to think differently. And your father turns and says, "My decision on the matter is final. We are leaving tonight. Who knows, this general, Lord Commander, whoever, it might happen today. The safety of our faction comes before the safety of one city." And with that, he heads into the back room to continue to pack your belongings.
Eva's gonna let him go, but she's gonna turn to her mother, sort of a pleading look in her eyes, being like, "Mom, I know too much now. I've seen too much. I am involved in this now. Krupix has asked me to help in my own way. I can't say why, I can't say how, but he's asked me to be a part of this, and if that means I have to watch you guys all leave, I will stay behind, but I need to forge my own path under his wing, and I need to be his little bird, his little whisper, his little tweet, and I need to do what I feel is right here. And you know, my friends need me, my group needs me."
As you say this, she kind of is silent. She's looking at you. Her face is impassive. And then you just see like a slight slip of emotion. "I must stay with your father. Someone has to monitor his bullheaded decisions. He's not a bad man either, but I fear he has lost himself to this faction, this work that we do."
And in some regards, he's right. I can't argue with him. He's following how he believes he has to follow, but he does it in his own way, and I need to do my way that I see as right. So two halves of the same circle, I think.
She kind of looks at you in the face, and she kind of puts a sort of like winged, sort of taloned finger to up to your chin, and she looks at your face, and sort of strokes one of the white feathers. "There are more of these."
I think it's a way of Prufix saying I need to be light and dark.
Well, if you're going to do this, Eva, I will not stop you. But you must go now before your father returns. And you know you must be quick and clever. If you are going to find evidence on whichever member of the Laos family is responsible, you will have to find a way to his rooms. You know what to do.
Yeah. Dad taught me well in that regard.
He did. But you must give yourself credit. You are a quick learner too.
I thank you for that.
I am proud of you, Eva.
Thank you. She's not going to seem.
And she kind of just like
sure to take the compliment there.
Yeah, she's never said that to you before out loud. She kind of bops the end of your beak, and your father kind of yells from the other room, "Go now."
Eva's the feather that she plucked out, she's gonna put it into her mom's hand, and then she is going to dash out of there.
All right. Cool. And we will leave Eva as she makes her way back to Onyx's mother's house. And we will head to Astrea.
I need you all to know that I called this shit like 6 sessions ago, and I need Kat to confirm this for me so I don't sound like an unhinged.
Can confirm. There is a document in existence that is literally Jen's conspiracy theories. It is like it's and it's constantly updated.
Yep.
And I love you for it. Anyway, Astrea, you make your way to the Hall of Renewal.
No. Reaper found the Jen emoji.
With purpose.
Anyway, continue. Oh, no.
Amazing. You head there with purpose, knowing the way, having almost committed the roads of Setessa to memory, despite having never trod them yourself. It is an unassuming clean building, with healers in their various garbs drifting in and out of the door. When you ask after General Cassian, a man presses his lips together and leads you to a private room. He knocks once, there is no response. He opens
he's
the
dead.
door anyway. Everyone like
all 56 bones were his spine.
With his entire vertebrae. He's just like you are in a small, comfortable room. It would almost resemble a study were it not for the bed in the corner. And sitting up on that bed, staring at the wall opposite, is Cassian. His arm is bandaged and wrapped in a tight sling. You can see what looks to be signs of broken ribs having been bandaged as well on one side. And his face has not quite escaped injury either. There is some minor bruising on his cheek and a deep scratch just to the side of his eye that will likely leave a scar.
Oh, matching scars!
I know, I thought about it and I thought, oh, look at how matching scars. He is lost in his thoughts, but he glances as you walk in. And a series of emotions pass on his face before he turns back towards the wall, silent.
Is my friendly neighborhood healer gone?
The healer announces you into the room. It's clear that you've already been seen. But the healer again, Lady Astrea to see you, sir. And there is no response. He just
I do my very best to not give the healer a look.
And this is very unusual for Cassian, because Cassian is a man who likes the first and last word. So it's very strange to be walking in and there just be silence. one thing the two of you are fantastic at is constantly talking, mostly in a bickering way, but there is never any shortage of conversation between the two of you. So he kind of just stares at the wall, but says nothing.
All right, I will, once the killer leaves the room, I will close the door behind them. When I told you to cover for me, I didn't mean get yourself half killed.
He continues to say nothing.
Are you going to tell me what happened?
I had an accident.
Yeah, I've seen a few of these accidents myself.
It's the Caryatid Grove.
It's a what?
So he looks at you and he says, it was the Caryatid Grove. I won't make you roll. You have been studying Setessa
for weeks leading up to this day.
Quite a lot. You had a month's timetable. The two of you have been together and studying it, and it's mostly been a combination of you acting like a teacher and him acting like the patronized student. But you have drilled this information into his head. The Caryatid Groves are they are sprinkled around Setessa. They are a form of defense, and they are essentially animated trees. Bumping willows
I was gonna say.
is probably like the best way to describe them. They're not normally actively, like, you know, the moment you get within a certain range of them, like whacking outwards. It's more like that they are there, but it is one of those things where it's like, you know, don't go too near them, like, and you had teased him many a time about it would be just like his idiot ass to just kind of throw himself against the Caryatid Grove tree and get himself absolutely thwacked to death.
Yeah, I'm rolling an insight check on that.
Yeah, so roll your insight check.
14.
14. No, 14's not bad.
It's no 25, but
there was it's no 25. There was a bit of a pause before he said it, like he was thinking. You sense that he, in a way, is telling you the truth. But that there is more to it.
Okay. Yes, and that one alley cat was just fine. Attacked me with no provocation. What happened?
Father returned early. That's what happened.
Yes, I heard.
He was not pleased that you were not there. I told him you had been taken ill. I covered for you, like I said I would. And somehow, I don't know how, he already knew that you had left the city. He was furious. I've never seen him so angry.
Yeah, no shit.
We went on a walk.
Oh, a walk.
And I stumbled into the Caryatid Grove.
Does this give me the vibe of, like, he didn't do this, he just yeeted me into a tree and just did his thing?
I think I will get you to... What is your passive insight?
Oh shit, it's 12.
12. I will let you roll because you're looking, like, you are actively...
Oh yeah, I'm like actively just kind of like, I'm doing my best to temper it, but I am doing a little bit of like the mom thing where I'm just like looking at everything, I'm just like, turn around.
Yeah.
Synthetic 20.
Synthetic 20. Okay, you are honed in on every eyebrow quirk, every increase in breath and heart rate. You are locked on. Yes, I feel like the implication here is that elements of what he is saying is true. He is not elaborating on the things that he doesn't want to elaborate on, but essentially the vibe he is giving you is, Father and I went for a walk to discuss our differences. Things got heated. I ended up stumbling into the tree. He knows where those groves are, and he knows how dangerous they are. You went through it with him 1,000 times, and as much as he's a meathead and he's an idiot, really, you know for a fact that the number of pop quizzes you have done with him, where he has perfectly recited to you the exact location of every single one of those groves while rolling his eyes, he knows where those groves are. He would not just stumble into one.
Great. You are unbelievable. Why are you protecting him?
Unbelievable.
Why are you protecting him?
I'm not protecting him. Don't look at me like that. And he turns towards you, and he says, "Don't look at me like that. At this point, I would rather you just, I don't know, mock me, make a joke. That's what you normally do, Estrella."
Get up, you ass.
He just looks down and he's like, "I was told my bed rest was very important." And then he kind of like looks at you properly for the first time, like, because he's been staring at the wall. He's been trying very hard not to meet your eyes. But as he kind of looks at you, he realizes, you watch as he kind of looks over you, and you look down and your dress is torn. It is covered in blood. There are arrow holes all over you. One of which leads sort of directly, roughly where your heart would be. And
if I had one,
eyes kind of widen, and he said, "What happened to you? Are you okay?"
First off, giant spider, I'm fine. I walked it off. I kind of like look him up at... You're kidding, right? You got attacked by a tree.
And it looks like you got shot. What was the one thing that you told me you would do?
Not die. I kept my word.
He's like looking directly at the one that like would be like near the heart, and he says,
Jen is fighting the urge to say my eyes are up here.
I was just about to say, yeah, the one right by your boob, yeah. And he says, "But how close did you come to breaking that promise?"
Well, I'll tell you what. Get your ass up. We'll get you a wheelchair. And you will come with me and get an answer to that yourself. Fine. Then get your ass up and follow me. It's only, what, a mile into the forest?
I'm not going into the forest with you. What are you talking about?
I don't trust your father, and you shouldn't either. Not just because of...
Estrella, we've been through this.
We have. And I maintain my position. He doesn't
I
care
hate
about
it when
my
you're
future.
right.
He doesn't care about my future. He cares about your future as far as it benefits him.
I need to talk to you about something.
Sorry, I was laughing at Anne, not at you. What?
And he kind of looks around. Is there a bug in here? Do you know how we would know that? You're the magic one. This is your responsibility.
Look, the only way I can think of that he would know if I was gone is if he had some sort of ward placed around my room that activated when I didn't come back, or if he had someone on the inside telling him about it.
Most likely the second. My father is not magically inclined. That's why he likes you so much.
Remember that time I told him I broke my somnic nerve, and he believed you, and he believed me.
Yes. So did I.
Dumbass.
And he kind of leans in and he says, I owe you an apology.
I need you to rewind, put that in writing, get it notarized, and tell me again.
I'm not messing around, Estrella.
Neither am I. Get your ass up. You can tell me when we get there.
Fine. And he begins to slowly get himself out of the... But where is it that you're planning to take him?
I'm just getting him out of the city and probably just I'm going to actually send my hawk ahead of us to Daja and Bianca's house. Its goal will be to find Eva and get her to follow it back to meet us.
Is there a reason why you're taking him out of the city?
Because I don't trust his dad, but if in the meta you would like me to not, that's fine.
My thinking is just if you're worried about like being listened to or anything like that, you would very easily be able to identify if there are people around, if there are magical sigils listening in.
I was mainly just worried about whether or not his dad was going to come back and fucking finish the job. But what I can do to make life easier on us all is to just pop a detect magic and just make sure there's nothing around. So
yeah, you can do that.
All right.
Are you expending a spell slot to do that?
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend that much time. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and spend a spell slot.
Cool. There doesn't seem to be anything in the room. And honestly, in terms of what you're worried about, this incident happened last night.
Bit of rage.
His father has had plenty of time if he wanted to come. And I mean, Cassian would tell you he's been mostly left to his own devices.
Cool.
He's not well protected. There are no guards outside. If his father wanted to come in and finish a job, he would most likely have done so by now.
Cool.
This is much more likely to be a explosion of rage that has just sort of compounded after years and years of not getting on, and immediately followed up by his father refusing to acknowledge any fault in anything that's just happened, and Cassian being equally as
stubborn and pig-headed.
Stubborn and pig-headed, yes.
So we'll revise the get your ass up to get your ass up and let me see that arm or some shit.
So he will look at you and he will say, When you said to me back in Atcross that you felt like my father was up to something, I didn't believe
Which
you. I
time?
know he is pig-headed and bullish and cruel,
Yes, yes,
but
and yes.
he is, I thought he was dedicated to Atcross and its future as a peaceful civilization, to the Krios name. Do you remember when you went away, you were researching, I can't hardly remember, you were always researching something, but you went back to Miletus for a few days
After the festival, yes.
to visit your friends. Yes, I mean, the most surprising thing to me was that you had friends at the time, but
Don't forget, I know where all of those groves are.
when I became acquainted with that tree, my head was hit quite hard, and
Her eyes immediately go to his head and she's like,
I fell unconscious for a moment. While I was unconscious, I had some strange hallucination, I suppose, of it was rather strange. There was a woman with silver hair, braided. She had strange pinkness to her skin, and she wore a blindfold. And I didn't recognize where I was, but I was tied up by long blonde hair. It was not rope, it was hair. And she touched the hair and it disintegrated. And when I woke, I remembered something from your time away that I had not remembered before. A woman came to visit my father. I don't remember her very well, but she had the same long blonde hair. I assumed that, well, I mean, to watch the two of them was quite sickening, but
ew.
yep. She was obviously there for something important. And the strange thing is that I didn't remember that until I hit my head. How is it that I could forget something like that?
Please hold while I consult God and roll an Arcana check of a fucking 23.
Yeah,
Modify
there
memory.
are plenty of spells that would allow a memory to be modified.
Estrella takes a breath and pushes down the instinctive urge to be sassy. There is magic out there that can remove, implant, modify your memories.
He genuinely looks at you with utter horror in his eyes. Like, that is terrifying. These are the things that you were supposed to warn me about. And then
I did
kind of...
2 months ago. We went over this 2 months ago in Mage Melee Combat. Quick question: did
that was a memory
detect
joke?
Magic?
Did you get it?
Huh. Sure. Yes. Did my detect magic pick up anything on Cassian, like a spell or an ongoing effect or anything?
No.
Okay.
Your detect magic only really picked up, like, which you already knew. His sword is a magical weapon.
Mm-hmm. I bet it is.
But other than that, yeah, and his actual sword is too. The metal one is as well. Hey. Okay. Don't forget to subscribe, everyone.
Subscribe to more soft, cranky Cassian.
What I will say is, as he's describing this to you, because Australia is incredibly intelligent and has only very recently had this conversation. His description of the woman that visited his father,
it would match
one that
Onyx's.
matches the one that supposedly adjusted the memory of Dion of the Burning Spears, almost to a fault.
Cassian.
Yes.
Do you remember the day of the festival when the when Onyx and Dion fought, and there was that odd tension?
Yes, the most ferocious battle.
He reported a similar thing, and by similar I mean almost identical to a T. Minus, the
Dion.
asshole as your father. Yes,
Dion has had his memory tampered with.
They caught up with some of the people that he ran with, and they reported similar things.
This is troubling.
I kind of glance around and just use my, mundane senses to make sure there's no one else listening. With a absolute
Perception check for me, please.
Perception roll of 13.
13. All the healers thaw through the door. No, you have a quick glance around. There is like a window in the room, and you kind of glance outside of it. There's no one anywhere near. You also sort of check outside the door. No one. The corridor's quite long, and there are quite large spaces between each door. So you kind of go to the door so quickly it would be impossible for someone to dive into another room or anything. And you see no one.
Okay.
Doesn't seem to be anyone listening in.
Whoever this person is cannot be up to any good. And if they are in, she kind of looks a little bit like odd as she says it. Just pardon my phrasing. If they are in bed with your father.
Phrasing pardoned as he tries not to throw up.
If they are in bed with your father, then we have to assume that he has the same agenda.
And what agenda do you think that is?
Well, I suspect we are all going to put our heads together. You don't have to come. You wouldn't be much contribution anyway. And find out in approximately a half hour.
Well, I will be attending the meeting this afternoon.
What time is it? I mean, like, what time is the meeting? Not,
So, like, if it was like hour clock, it would be like 3 p.m.-ish.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Like, does Theros have its own time scheme? Mid-afternoon.
Great, perfect. And I assume he's expecting me to be there as well.
Most likely, yes.
Are you going?
I will be, but Astrea, if you need to investigate, then I will cover for you.
Cassian, the last time you covered for me, she does her very best to not look like it's killing her. that she was like, cover me, and now he's like half dead. No, I trust my friends to either find a way to make this work or to find a way to get me out of it without involving you again.
I'm well aware of the risks.
Yes, clearly. And since he said it, I can say it too. He said it, I can say it too. I'm sorry.
Are you apologizing to me?
She does her very best to not like punch him in the face. You apologized first.
I did.
But no, I will not be leaving you to the trees again.
Yes, well, they are just as nasty as you told me they would be.
Of course they are. It's not like I spent, weeks studying. And, twice that time imparting that knowledge on your...
I would do it again. Cover for you.
Please follow me a bit. You broke the play. Yes, well, I'll count on you to make the same mistake twice.
You're so funny.
I will...
Thank you for coming to visit me. It is your fault I am in here, after all.
There it is. Yep. I was wondering how long it would take for you to feel back to your vivacious old self.
It took you far sooner.
Please do not cover for me again. I need you alive for my recommendation to be any good.
Of course.
And,
for the sake of your education, I will endeavor to live as long as I can. I would hate for you to have to take this year all over again.
Oh, yes, you would. If only because you'll have to take me through sparring again.
Sex education.
It will take a good bit of time for those as fragile as I to make it through the forest to where I'm meeting my friends. 2 things. Stay off of your father's bad side. That includes covering for me. As you have seen, I can handle myself. And she indicates the fucking arrow holes.
I can handle myself, covered in blood.
For once, just trust me.
Yourself.
And
Astoria, I have always trusted you.
You're
trusted you to be a pain in the ass at every turn.
Oh my god, give me your damn hand, you absolute ass. And I will, just in case, just do a quick remove curse on him, just in case. I'm sure there's nothing there, but I'm just gonna channel some healing energy there.
He
can't do
lets
much.
You channel this thing, and he's like, what are you doing?
I'm making sure there are no lasting effects from any of your encounters.
Ah! Just kidding.
I'm certainly no healer, but I can. Don't die. And she turns and leaves.
As you leave, he says, Astraea, truly thank you for visiting me. I do enjoy your company sometimes.
And the last thing she says to him is, well, once in a while you're not half bad yourself. Which for them, let's be real, is basically an I love you too.
That's basically a declaration of love. And you don't even look at him, so you don't see the way he smiles when you say that. And we move on.
Oh, I'm sorry, Griffin. Scare the shit out of my cat.
Can just be like, what the heck?
And it's like, calm down, you
will
whore.
move back to Onyx's house. For the sake of expedience, I will say that Estrella, you walk your way back there. Eva, you have already made it. The two of you kind of see each other just outside of it and head inside. And as you do, you walk in. There is tea waiting for you. You are in Onyx's mother's house. At the moment that you've walked in, Onyx, Bianca has immediately set to fussing. She has removed all of the cloths that were over all of the mirrors, and is chastising Daja for, not cleaning as often as she could have done, and allowing the dirty dishes to pile up.
Onyx absolutely takes after Daja.
2 weeks, Daja, and she's cleaning.
Onyx is kind of trying to chase her around and like taking the cleaning supplies away from her and like trying to get her to go sit down and relax and rest. And this is literally me and my husband. Just like, sit down, you just got home, you were almost turned into a spider, but like not in so many words, but like is trying to do all those tasks for her.
Onyx, this is much better for me. And she just continues to try to clean, when you're not fussing over her too much.
Whenever I turn my back.
Eva, Estrella, you walk in. Estrella looks a little bit more settled.
Estrella looks like she did that whole battle again, but like in her head. And she just kind of like sits at the she almost collapses into a chair. Like elbows on the table, like head, like fingers on our temples. Takes a massive breath, like we're talking could fill up a whole ass blow up kayak breath. Lets it out.
Yeah, Kalika is gonna be like kind of like nudging Callista and looking over at Estrella and just like, well, at least it seems like he's still alive. She wouldn't be here.
I fully imagine that on the way to Onyx, Callista's been like, Estrella's got a boyfriend.
Definitely.
I think Onyx doesn't even hear that, and even if she did, she'd be like, what is that? And why would anybody want one?
I feel like that would be Estrella's sentiment as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like, ew. No, thank you.
When Eva enters, her brow's gonna kind of be knotted, and there's gonna obviously look like she's thinking about something. She's gonna pull out one of her notebooks, and she's gonna start just dabbing it with a pen as if she's like trying to think of something to write and something to say. But there's obviously some things on her mind.
All right.
Onyx, when she sees those two come in, she's preps them each a big mug of tea and brings it over to them.
Estrella just kind of like as Onyx comes up behind her, just kind of like leans into her for a little bit. Like just absolute like emotional exhaustion. Fucking whirlwind
as you all
of
kind of
emotion.
settle down, getting ready to have a tea and everything like that, and sort of talk about where you are at. You hear a knock on the door, and you'll look up, and the door opens, and Phaedra peers her head round, and says, "Is now a good time?" And we will go to break. And yeah, we will probably be back in around 50 minutes. We're going to run some ads so that the ads are not playing during the session. And yeah, see you in about 15 minutes time, everyone. Better hands, everybody. Thank you. See you soon. And we are back. Woohoo! Adverts over. Bezos tax paid. We can now return to my wonderful cast, making their way through Theros. Let's see where this takes us. So I'll dive straight back in. So before the break, you all reconvened back at Onyx's parents' house. And there was a knock at the door, and Phaedra kind of peers her head round. Is now a good time? And she sort of sees you, Estrella, and is like, okay, so she's dealt with her stuff. Immediately, I mean, she's like she's one of the people in charge of the entire city, right? So it would be kind of like the mayor just coming to your house. So your parents are a little bit like, oh, we were not expecting you, Lady Phaedra, but please, yes, would you like some? Would you like to take a seat? Would you like some tea?
Estrella is like, were you followed?
Of course not.
I spoke with General Cassian, and he is in agreement with you.
Really?
He reported seeing the same thing as well. I will let Onyx and Eva relay that information to you.
You're gonna get part 2 of the performance.
Yeah, Onyx is just gonna look at Eva and be like, muted again. Nope.
We still can't hear you. Nope, nothing.
Headphones die.
Joan, yes,
it's
but
Lindsay
no, we're talking about Lindsay.
Yeah. Lindsay's.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I don't know what it did. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So instead of doing a whole performance this time, Eva's gonna just take a deep breath and a little sigh, turn to Phaedra, and there seems to be a lot going on in and around Setessa right now. Bands of mercenaries being mind controlled in a way, doing things that they wouldn't do of their own free will. There seems to be higher powers in play here, manipulating the pawns to move against Setessa. My intel says that things might be closer to a head than I previously thought. There might be larger pieces already in town about to strike.
That would be the Lord Commander, probably.
Lord
He
Commander
thinks-
Ulysses.
Cassian, General Cassian thinks that he might be planning something.
Is Cassian part of the Leos family?
He is. He is not part of whatever is going on, though. His memory was tampered with, in the same way I suspect that your friends was, or your Dion's was, or Dion's friends.
So you trust him?
My intel says the Leos are they might be about to attack.
Cassian's
Phaedra's just looking like tennis, like looking at you, and just like, hold on, because as she looks at you, Estrella, and she goes, I feel like the conversation has moved on quite a bit from when we spoke earlier. This is all information that you have all gathered in the last hour?
All related in the last hour, and we had bits and pieces, and Cassian helped tie it together.
So I don't know if my
Well,
information
your
might
skills
be
of investigation are already
biased.
most impressive to me.
Honestly,
You make a fine
Onyx and
team.
Eva did the work. I just filed it away and got someone to confirm. That's what I do.
When I spoke to Cassian last night, he didn't seem to know anything.
He wouldn't have. What happened after the Lord Commander came into town must have either triggered his memory or literally knocked whatever was blocking it right out of his head. He had an encounter with the help me out here. Something Grove.
The Caryatid Grove.
The Caryatid Grove.
Yes, I had heard that was the official story.
It is certainly part of the actual story. He knew well where these groves were, but it seems that the Lord Commander is prone to fits of rage and was not happy that I was gone, as you mentioned. And you can all see just kind of like little bits of like lightning sparking across her fingers.
I think Onyx puts a hand on her shoulder just to kind of comfort her a little bit.
My sources tell me that the Lord Commander's mood is most changed since you have returned. My feeling, my instinct, is that he thought you had left to pursue some other source of information, some other lead.
Like just the leads that we were talking about now.
Perhaps if he thought he was up to something, he thought that you were onto him, and that is why he was so angry.
Oh, certainly.
But having returned and, well, quite honestly, you are all the heroines of Setessa right now. And he is... well, he is currently consumed with taking every bit of credit that he can for your involvement, Lady Estrella.
Well, certainly I pass the credit on to Cassian, and the credit to Cassian goes to him as well. General Cassian.
I trust that General Cassian is feeling better.
As well as can be expected, given the fact that he was attacked by a tree. I'm wondering, both Phaedra and Kat, if this could have been the work of the Nyx through the trees, or the work of Nelia through the trees. Is there any way that I could kind of gather that, or?
In what way you think that the trees? So the trees. What Phaedra will explain to you is the trees are animated by a form of magic. It is through Karametra protection and Nilia's protection of the city that these groves are allowed to exist. She will confirm that in order for the groves to attack, they basically need to be either directed. They will sense if the city is under attack, and they will animate themselves, as part of that. Or really, in order for them to attack, shall we say, Whomping Willow style, it's going to take considerable force and the feeling that they are being attacked.
Right.
And she will reveal to you that she went to the grove where General Cassian had his accident, and she found on one of the trees the marks of some kind of blade being stabbed into the tree trunk. Her best guess is that even if it was a reaction in a fit of rage, it was not just a case of pushing into the tree and the tree responded.
Right.
It was a case of the tree was attacked by a blade, and the tree responded appropriately to what it thought was its attacker.
So for a split second, like the sparks of electricity kind of like grow for a second and then shrink again as like Estrella takes a breath. Is it possible that these trees could have, the influence of these trees, whatever whichever of the gods are working through these trees, is it possible that it could have been their doing that this block on his mind was lifted?
It could have been the divine. What I will say, by the way, when he explained to you what happened, the description of the figure that he saw that cut the blonde hair that was binding him matched the description of the priestess that was pretending to be the priestess of Farrakha. And indeed the one that was on top of the tower that summoned the lion as well.
It was the work of an agent of Clothis. Probably.
Had obviously taken it upon herself to be of some use.
Snip, snip.
I'ma snip these vines. And that would strike you as odd as well, because obviously everything you've heard about this priestess so far has been causing us trouble. Summoning lions to test us, or she's making spidery horrible things happen to test us. So this is an active aid.
Help. Yeah.
Could be seen as a reward of some kind, perhaps. Some kind of help in this matter. So whatever is happening here, this priestess seems to be aiding in some way.
Okay.
Eva's gonna kind of like step up, or make a motion to Phaedra and be like, is there any way you can get me to the Lord Commander's room?
Well, this was to be my suggestion. I tend to find that people keep their belongings close to them, but the Lord Commander is an arrogant man and he unpacked in a rush. My people have kept him busy ever since. He has not had a chance to return to his room, and he will not until after the meeting.
I want to go. I want to go see.
And Callista, hearing this, is like, ooh, I could help. I've been practicing. I could help.
Oh,
I love this.
Yeah. Oh god,
he was probably not liking it at all. But
we can't do the finale episode without Callista attempting to open another lock. We just simply can't. It's the way we have to. She will say to you all, my suggestion would be that I keep the Lord Commander busy. I will delay the meeting as long as possible. But we will all be gathering in the meeting hall shortly. She looks at you, Estrella. Your absence will be noticed. But I can attempt to cover for you in some way.
Don't let him cover for me again.
I felt that you wouldn't want Lord Cassian involved, General Cassian involved.
He's involved himself enough, as always.
Not without reason, I'm sure.
Well, yes, it seems like his father may be planning something quite nefarious.
It would seem that way, but you will need evidence before you can present that. Your Alexander Krios.
Daddy Alex. Or Uncle Alex.
Daddy Alex?
Look, I've been calling Ulysses Daddy Ulysses
Alex.
all week. I've been saying Daddy Ulysses all week.
Daddy Alex. Just slipped out
Uncle Alex. Uncle Alex! I mean, okay, that's a whole other sentence.
Uncle Alex, Uncle Alex, she will say, Alexander is your best bet. If the general is up to something nefarious, then he will want to know about it if his intentions towards maintaining peace between Setessa and Akros are true.
If we find something is it worth a direct interruption to the meeting? Or
Absolutely. Especially, and she'd look at you, Eva, especially if you feel like something might happen as soon as tonight. It is definitely worth interrupting the meeting.
you see Estrella just get just a little bit more smug. Just like, oh, I can't wait to bust his ass open in front of everyone at this table.
I think that we should split into two groups. And Estrella, and if it is all right with everyone, I should go to the meeting while Iva, Callista, and Kalyuka go do the reconnaissance. And Callista can keep Estrella and I informed silently without anyone noticing what's going on.
Do we know if Callista? Do you know if your telepathy will reach us from the Lord Commander's quarters? Because it might have to be within vision, and
Yeah,
it's what? What is your telepathy? 500 feet.
Also, Phaedra, how long can you delay the meeting?
Lulu, can you just say something again for me?
Oh, something's wrong with your mic, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to Australia while Lulu tries to fix that.
Phaedra, how long can you delay this meeting? Can you delay it long enough for all of us to go in? I know how he likes things organized. I did most of his filing for him this year.
Perhaps I can, yes.
Listen, I will leave you with my bird. They will believe it is yours. You are, as I understand, a falconer.
I am.
I will leave you with my hawk. And have it come and get me when when people start gathering. And information or not, I will join the meeting to avoid suspicion. I don't want to draw suspicion on either you or General Cassian.
There is only one door into the Lord Commander's room, and it will be guarded by an Therosian guard. I trust that one of you is well suited to cause some kind of distraction, or perhaps...
I can take care of him.
Excellent. Well, gather what you can. Some kind of written evidence would be appropriate, I think.
And then I will present it.
Present it at the meeting. If we can have him arrested and he is planning something tonight, perhaps we can stop it in time. In the meanwhile, I will... what guards we have left, I will have them alert and try to figure out anything I can my end.
All right. I suppose we may go back then.
Yes, I should make myself scarce. Thank you all for everything that you have done for Setesta and continue to do. Your help is most appreciated.
Onyx bows to her.
She kind of nods her head back, and she heads out the door. And your two mothers go, oh, like having unexpected royalty just drop in, and they kind of just begin to busy themselves, and they say, well, it sounds like you will have quite the busy afternoon. But it was lovely to meet you all. It's so good to see Onyx with so many friends.
Off we go.
All right. So what is the plan, may I ask? Is anyone attending the meeting? Are you all just planning to head to the room?
Can I throw in something from Daja?
Yeah. What do you want to throw
I
in?
think Daja invites everyone to come into the forge, and if they want to pick out some kind of weapon or something, but that could be dealt with afterwards. But
I don't think, because those weapons are normally all commissioned for other people.
okay.
And she is very behind on her work. So I feel like that would potentially not happen. Though I can see why that was potentially an offer, but I think that she would try. You just all returned from quite a dangerous expedition and are absolutely fine. So in Daja's eyes, you've got this. Especially as this is possibly not going to result in violence necessarily. Lulu, can you just has your mic been sorted yet?
We are still troubleshooting.
Got it. Perfect. Cool. So with that then, so the plan is anyone were you wanting to attend the meeting, or were you just all wanting to head to the Lord Commander's room?
I think our goal is to all go to the commander's room, and Onyx and I will go, or Onyx and I and maybe Eva, I think, will go to the meeting if the meeting happens, like if people are starting to gather before we're done.
I don't know if Eva's going to want to go to the meeting. She's kind of put herself out there enough and got some reprimand. So I don't know if she'll want to go to the meeting.
I feel like it would probably be better if it was if you're called upon, or if the hawk appears. And I trust that the instruction is stay by Phaedra's side until instructed to come find me for your hawk. Yeah. Okay.
The instruction for my hawk is basically like do what Phaedra wants.
Yeah. Whatever Phaedra tells us.
Whatever the fuck she wants.
Cool. So you all head, and you know the streets at this point have kind of cleared, so it's much quieter. And you all head towards the building where the okay, so we are having some technical issues momentarily. I'm gonna just cut this to break now, and we will be back shortly. All right. Thank you. See you soon. And we're back. It wouldn't be a Strands of Fate episode without some tech gremlins to keep us company.
Never.
Absolutely love to see it. They threatened to overrun Lulu, but don't worry, we fought them off, and we're back.
I'm not the person to have tech gremlins though, because I don't know what I'm doing with computers.
You clearly do. It works fine.
It works absolutely fine. Lulu was in there with her backup computer after backup computer. We've got it. We got it. I don't have any of that, so God help us if anything happens to me.
Callisto was saying something, right?
Yeah.
I feel like yes.
I was,
right?
And now with all the stress, I'm like, what were we talking about?
It was
were
something
talking
about
about
your
the plan for the
telepathy.
Oh yes, of course I don't have my character sheet pulled up.
That's okay. We have a backup plan in the form of my familiar, and we're actually all going to end up. The plan. I don't know how much you could hear us. Is
no, I couldn't hear anything.
Okay, so the plan is that we are all going to go to the Lord Commander's quarters, Daddy Ulysses. In the meantime, Phaedra is going to hold off the meeting as long as she can and send my bird to get me and get us as soon as people start gathering for the meeting. Onyx and I will go to the meeting, and if we haven't found anything incriminating yet, the rest of the party will stay and continue to search and let us know when you'll let us know when we have something. I will you'll hand it off to me and I will stand up and expose his ass. Yeah.
All right.
Sounds good.
Cool. So you all head out. You're walking towards the Lord Commander's his quarters, or at least it's the quarters where you're all kind of staying. Currently, it's like the Cetessan embassy, as it were. It's kind of where delegates from other cities, important guests, visitors are put up in this rather luxurious set of apartments. And on your way, you can see that everything is a bit quieter on the streets. You walk past where you can see people heading towards the meeting building. You do notice, so the Acrosian guards, they seem jovial, and remind me, who has a passive perception? I'm probably thinking it's going to be Lulu. Passive perception over 15.
I'm pretty sure I do. I'm still trying to pull up my character sheet.
No
my
worries.
passive investigation is going to be so useful here. Oh my god.
Passive perception over 15. You kind of you're not trying to be too obvious about yourselves being around because you don't.
Well,
really want to be seen.
I was gonna cast Pass Without Trace on us.
You absolutely can do that. So, if you're wanting to get there stealthily, if you could all roll a stealth check for me with +10, as well as your stealth
Eva.
modifiers because of Pass Without Trace, and I will do a group check.
So, Onyx, I don't know that she would try to roll stealth in this moment unless you think it's gonna cause problems for the rest of the party, because she has every reason to be walking around in Cetessa. There's no, I don't think she's worried about people seeing her.
So if you're wanting to travel with the party, what I would put forward to you and what Onyx would realize is that obviously you guys have just done a wonderful thing for Cetessa. And if you're just walking around and everyone else is trying to be quiet, people are going to be coming up to you and be like, oh my goodness, thank you so much, and delaying the journey and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily about, oh, I have every reason to be walking around Cetessa. Absolutely you do, as do all of you, but
it's like, I don't have time for this shit.
Astraea, if Astrea's noticed, they'll be like, hey, you heading to the meeting? And that will be awkward.
Yeah.
And the
Astraea
rest
will
of you
stress the
can
importance
absolutely
of
be walking
expediency.
around. But if you are wanting expediency and don't want to be stopped by, grateful Cetessans,
I will absolutely roll
a little bit of.
I'm sorry for my cat's tail.
Hello, kitty.
Cass has no certificate.
Yes.
Sorry.
So if you can all pop your numbers in for
17.
me. I have. Good
I will write it
lord.
down.
Not bad, right?
Right?
I don't really think it matters what you roll. Hey, is that including the plus 10?
helped.
How did the
No,
wizard get the
so
highest stealth
27.
somehow?
27. Okay, so just for the chat, we have the lowest is 18. And that is from like one of our stealthiest characters.
I rolled real bad.
there was either, you know, you're like, oh man, these people, I've seen them in those caves. These people are not stealthy. I'm gonna have
So
to
why
give
bother
them
wasting my
every
best
little
effort?
bit of help that they can. And then you realize, oh, they do understand stealth, and they are much quieter than you all of a sudden. You're tripping over everything.
I'm
You're
distracted. I'm clearly distracted.
yeah.
There's things
Yeah.
on
You've
You've
my
got family
mind.
shit going on.
You're taking the heat, but the lowest was 18 and the highest was 31. So that's, you know, a good mix. So you do manage to evade almost everyone, but those of you with the passive perceptions over 15, you would hear from the guards, the Therosian guards, general excitement. You know, our Lord Commander has returned. He's come a little bit early. It's great. You know, especially Australia, that Cassian is not the most respected, and Alexander Krios, he's quite a serious person, so would not necessarily be the best liked amongst the men. He's respected, but he's, you know, he's not very generous with his men. He's quite strict. So the Lord Commander, however, Lord Commander Ulysses, is well liked amongst his men. He has, unfortunately, he has that sort of good mix between sort of having a sense of humor, but he commands that respect. And they are chattering excitedly about how they are the Lord Commander is treating them to a special meal this evening.
Oh, don't eat that food. Don't eat that food.
This is the Therosian guards. So they're very excited about that.
Do they mention at all, like, if they've heard anything about the fact that I gave Cassian the credit for sending me off?
That you gave Cassian the credit?
Yeah.
There's a bit of a mix of things that you would hear from them. There's a lot of talk about, you know, Cassian's accident, and they do seem to think it's an accident. So that's the line that's the tale that they've been told, and most of them are not willing or not intelligent enough to really think too hard about it. So they know that the Lord Commander was furious with Cassian, and that's a right laugh. They know that Cassian fell into a grove of animated trees, and that's also a right laugh.
After sending his mentee out to be a hero or whatever. Yeah,
they're not really conflating that, and they, you know, they don't dislike you either, and they're used to you being very much like not anti-Cassian, but also like a little disrespectful to his face in front of them, and they kind of find that funny. So you know, the Lord Commander's son, what's he done in the last 24 hours? He's tripped and fallen into trees while, you know, his mentee has become a heroine of Setessa. That's hilarious to them. So you make your way, and you do so very quietly, very stealthily, and you arrive at these quarters. They are empty. There is 2 guards stationed outside the entrance, and Phaedra has already told you that there will be a guard stationed outside the door to the Lord Commander's quarters.
So Eva she's thinking before they turn the corner, she is going to ask the group if they think that she should use disguise self to disguise herself as Cassian to get into the room.
I don't know if they will let him in, especially given that his father has specifically said. However, I have one idea that involves the 2 of you waiting around this corner for them.
Two of who?
So they might just to give you some information, they might let him in because Cassian and Lord Commander, this building houses all guests, so they might even let you in, but they would ask about your presence towards going to the meeting, and they would note that you are not there yet. But Cassian and the Lord Commander's quarters, as it were, are adjoining, so they are like the two rooms are right next to each other.
I can get them around the corner if you and Onyx want to wait and just bonk them.
It is possible because, Ava, how about, you can become Cassian, and in case we run into any trouble with the guards, I can turn into one of the guards, just in case we need to get out of here.
I mean, the main thing is we all have to get into that room.
I
was planning
too.
But I could pretend that I'm Cassian and I'm supposed to lead you guys to the meeting, but Dad sent me to get something from the office and you guys are my entourage and I'll be leading you to the meeting afterwards.
That's about pompous enough. They might.
Yeah.
I was thinking I would just compel duel, but if you guys want to do it that way, that's fine too.
I mean, I certainly have an idea that can get you the drop on them.
Well,
plus you can mimic Cassian's voice, can you not?
Yeah.
So
I've met him. Yeah.
We could just go in and get it out and leave.
Without cuffle and punching and noise, like quiet in, quiet out, no suspicion.
I
also, so sorry. DM, have you heard them talk about the victims in the sewers by any chance? Like anything that's happened to them, or the strange, like spider-like creatures? Has there been any talk around that?
The Acrosian guards?
Yes.
No. So they obviously just arrived like yesterday with Estrella. So they might be talking about it. Yeah, they might be like, oh yeah, all of these Cetessans, isn't it great that all of these Cetessans have been brought back, and I can't believe that something so dramatic has happened in the first 12 hours of us being here, and all of this. Like nothing this exciting ever happens in Akros and that kind of talk, but it's not anything to do with them. In their eyes, it's a Cetessan issue.
Got it. Sorry, Onyx, I cut you out.
Oh, I don't think that I will be that helpful in the room. So I will wait outside and be the muscle if muscle becomes necessary.
All right.
As Cassian, I can take Estrella in with me and that won't be suspicious at all.
That's true.
You guys can wait outside because I think me and Estrella can get what we need to get.
Definitely.
That works.
And maybe Callista as well.
And I can turn invisible, or I can disguise myself too. I just learned not too long ago both of those things, so I can.
What if you relieve one of the guards?
I could do that. I'm sure I can pull off a guard.
I can take care of the guard for you, Callista. You can
be a guard with us.
I mean, if you want to relieve that guard outside of the Lord Commander's office, without causing too much noise, then that would be a good opportunity for Callista as well.
Whatever we should do it quickly because we don't have much time.
I'll probably try to talk up the guard then, try to maybe lead him out. So, just go oh, you're looking very strong there. Do you work out? Okay, you can clearly see that Kalika has never flirted with a guard before.
Living up to the bard.
She knows how to talk about bodybuilding though. She says, what is it that you've been eating?
So
protein shake?
Eva's gonna cast Disguise Self.
Got it. So you are disguising yourself as an injured Cassian.
But as cocky and arrogant as I can pull off.
I will give her a full
Yep.
description of like what bandages are where, what bruise. There's, a bruise approximately 2
Yep.
inches across his cheekbone. A very nice cheekbone.
Yeah, you definitely get the impression, Eva, that Jen has been paying attention to every single line on Cassian's
Jen
body.
really has. Jen certainly has.
Astrea knows everything. And you're like, yep, this is all useful information, but there's that small part of you heard that conversation that's like, this girl has no idea. How
She's like, yeah,
much
you're
she
smitten.
likes that
You're
meathead.
absolutely smitten.
And when she turns, she's gonna give Estrella just a wink, like.
Estrella looks genuinely confused.
At this
Genuinely
point,
confused.
the four of us are starting to like bet on when it's kind of gonna click.
When it's gonna click.
Yep.
I can't wait to see which episode in season 100 it is. So we've got a Cassian lookalike.
Yep.
Callista, are you disguising yourself as a guard of some kind?
Yeah, she'll cast disguise self on herself, and she'll make herself look like one of the guards, but it's just not quite right. Like, you can tell it's her. She's not very practiced at doing this, even though it is a magical spell. You still have to kind of be observant and know what they look like. So it's passable, but maybe not the most skillful.
I'm going to send a message to Callista and say, just try to make sure you stand near a window. If I'm standing downstairs and I see, or somewhere, if I'm standing near the entrance and I see someone come, I'll let you know. And I'm gonna try and persuade this other guard that was earlier there to kind of like maybe come outside with me for a bit.
Okay, so your first block is that you have 2 guards standing outside the entrance to the building.
Didn't Estrella have a plan?
Estrella did have a plan. If y'all want to wait, lie in wait.
I can lie in wait.
All right.
Right.
Okay.
So once everyone is lying in wait,
you're approaching.
Yes, Estrella approaches, looking unsettled. She actually approaches from the back, like from the back of the building almost, and she goes, "Excuse me. I assume I know their names, so I'm just gonna greet them by name.
Yeah.
Thank you, nerds with dice for the raid.
Yes, thank you for the raid.
I was walking in the forest to clear my head before the meeting, and I think I'm being followed. I have no problem taking. I don't want anything to go wrong at the meeting. I know how important this is. If the 2 of you could.
Who is following you? Did you get a good look at them?
No, I just heard the snapping of twigs. My boss didn't bother to go through the difference between a beast and a person, and I am a little hopeless out there without. I'm better on a flat playing field. If the 2 of you wouldn't mind taking a look, I just don't want anything to happen as this meeting is coming.
And they kind of look at each other. Lady Estrella, we are supposed to stay at our post. Maybe one of us can go. Do you want to? And they kind of look at each other like, you go, no, you go.
I just pick one. I'm like, you go.
Before they get to me, Onyx is gonna do Cloak of Stars, and so she just looks like a Nyx being, and just like blackness with sparkling darkle coming through and all these areas, and she's also going to make a little noise to kind of sell the idea that Estrella was being followed.
Are you trying to look scary?
Yeah.
Roll that intimidation check for me.
I rolled deception for the sake of honesty. I had to use my advantage because it was a 1. It's a total of 19.
Love it. Okay, cool.
I figured there was potential for some fun story there.
Woohoo! 24.
24. The guard rounds the corner, sees you, Onyx, yells,
and compelled duel,
and runs. He begins to run.
As soon as he starts yelling, I'm going to cast Compelled Duel on him.
Okay, so we're getting into combat now.
There's a lot happening.
I'm actually kind of lost as to what we're doing here.
So
Like,
we're
at a
planning
game.
an ambush on them, just knocking them out and taking them out of the picture. I basically sent them to where the lot of you were lying in wait so that you could take them
Oh,
out.
I didn't
I'm a
think
little
that
lost
was
as
what we
well.
were
My
doing.
thinking was that your plan was to try
Yeah.
to do this quietly. So
Yeah, that we were just gonna walk
to try
in
to
with
trick
me
your
as
way in.
Cassian, not to fight.
Oh, I
But
thought we were.
if-
I thought we were getting rid of the two guards up front. My bad.
All right,
Are you trying to knock them out? Are you trying to knock this guy out?
walk it back. We don't need to do that.
Yeah.
No, we can.
Yeah, let's walk it back.
But just
Oh.
are you? Is that your purpose? Because I'm not going to get us into combat because we don't really have time for combat. So I would rather just see if you manage to hit him, and then just we'll go straight into just knocking them out if
Well-
that's the plan.
If they're just gonna go quiet, then I'm not gonna do any of that.
Yeah, I think let's walk it back.
Yeah, I think the
Yeah.
plan was that
That's
me
okay
as
with you.
Cassian and Estrella were going to walk up together to just try and walk in to
Yeah,
the place.
Yeah, that's on me. I thought that was once we were already in and at the office. That's on me. I'm sorry, guys.
Oh,
Okay. All right. So the guards are outside. Yeah, let's rewind. So the guards are outside. There's 3 of you.
Yep.
You walk up, and they seem surprised to see Cassian. But they say, "Oh, General Cassian, Lady Estrella. Is everything okay? Are you wanting to come in?"
in Cassian's voice, Eva will say, yes, my father, we need to hurry to the meeting, but I'm accompanying Lady Estrella here, and we just need to go in and grab something quickly from my room before we head to the meeting.
Of course, General Cassian. And they kind of stand to the side, and you walk in, and you have one more guard, which I believe, if I'm remembering the plan correctly, was the guard that Callista was going to relieve.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So he's standing outside the Lord Commander's room, and he's clearly like one of the guards that is being rewarded for being good at his job, follows orders correctly. He has been given personal guard of the Lord Commander's room. So he stands to attention, and he kind of nods his head and he says, General Cassian, Lady Estrella. And then he kind of looks at you, Callista.
And Callista, and she's a little nervous because this is her first time like trying to impersonate somebody, but she's like, yeah, she kind of sucks it in. She's like, yes, and I'm here to relieve you. They need you at the meeting. And she just kind of tries to take his place.
I was under the impression I was not to be relieved for another hour.
Plans change.
I feel like Satessa may have had a what do they call it? The daylight savings time. And I think we are actually ahead an hour on their schedule.
Roll a persuasion check.
Can I
And I
attempt
will
to
let
assist by
one
liking...
of you. I will let one of you roll with advantage because you are all 3 of you kind of
You don't want Callista to roll. She only
I'll give that to
19?
Eva.
one.
Oh, thank God.
19.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that would make sense. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank
I do
you. Truth be
appreciate your
told-
due diligence, Captain. That you've kept track of your time so well. It goes to prove, how dedicated you are to this post, and my father will know of your dedication.
Estrella rolls
just
her
looks
eyes
at
for
you.
show.
Yes. And it's Lieutenant. But yes. Okay. Yes.
Lieutenant, sorry.
And he kind of straightens up and he marches off, like Buckingham Palace, changing up the guard style. It's all very fancy and ridiculous. And Callista, you are now guarding the room. And you go to open the door. It is locked.
And she's like, this, oh, okay, I can do this. And she's like, and I'm surprised.
I know what you want to do, so roll it. It is your dexterity plus your proficiency bonus.
And I'm going to use my Nellie's Garden dice from Starbuck.
Nice.
Rolled an 18. So that is +4, so 22.
I'm so
Thank you, Starbuck.
Okay, so you go, and the two of you remember, oh god, this was a struggle before, and we don't have much time, and you're kind of looking down the corridor, is somebody coming, and Callista, you inhabit this character. This character is strong. They know what they're doing. Yep. They have that confidence, that, and you just kind of jam in your thieves tools, and just as Jericho showed you, it's a quick flick and the door just opens, and you stand, all three of you, stunned for just a moment as Callista, in literally less than a second, opens this door.
Notably, Onyx does see this.
Estrella turns to Callista and goes,
Onyx and Kalyuka, you are outside, and you watch as a guard comes out, and he talks to the two guards on the outside, and they kind of nod their head, and he walks off towards the mess hall.
Yeah, Callista's like, I think I'm getting the hang of this whole stealthy rogue stuff.
Eva, as Cassian, is going to pet Callista as a guard on the top of the head. Good job.
Okay, so you walk into the
push into the room with purpose.
Room. You can see that there is it's like a guest room, right? So there's a very fancy, but it's not like personalized in any way, the room. Bed and ornate desk, chair, everything looks very cozy, and the desk does have some papers on it, and there is a drawer on the desk. There's not an awful lot else other than like a trunk, and he has obviously unpacked a little bit, but not much. So a trunk that seems to contain most of his clothes and things.
I'm going to start going right for like all of his organizational stuff. I'm like using my knowledge of his habits. I will relay that to Eva as I will kind of talk as I rifle.
Yep.
So that she's able to fully put her rogue shit to use. Or not rogue shit, ranger. I keep forgetting you're a ranger, not a rogue. I'm so sorry.
It's fine.
You have such rogue energy.
Yep.
What I'm going to do is, and if I'm remembering correctly, Callista said that she was going to go and stand by a window, so that Kumi and I guess Onyx as well would be able to see if anything went down or if there's a problem, and equally if people start coming back or coming towards the building, they would be able to signal as well to Callista. The two of you will also be on the lookout for the hawk that are standing outside. You have. I would like then for Eva and Estrella to both make investigation checks for me.
Gorgeous. I hope this rolls higher than my passive, because that's going to be hard.
Oh, not great.
I rolled lower than my passive.
Re-rolls if you have not already used them.
I already used it.
I'm gonna use mine again. Okay, so 17 for investigation.
21.
17. Got a 21?
I did. My passive is a 23.
You sound so disappointed. You know a 21 is good, right?
I know. I'm used to. I know I'm playing Pathfinder later, and I gotta remember that.
Between the two of you, you find it fairly easily. Estrella, great communication. You know exactly how he normally organizes his things and all of this, and you kind of rifle through the papers and everything like that, and you realize a lot of it is just menial office stuff.
And I spot something in his hand.
Is this drawer, and you open it, and with that 21, as you open it, you notice that the bottom jiggles slightly, and you smile as you realize that a false bottom has been placed on the inside of this drawer.
Hacker voice, I'm in.
With a little bit of maneuvering, you manage to move it away. And there is a letter. It says, I hope you're ready for some gross mush.
Hang on, I'm clipping this out. All right, go.
Ulysses, keeper of my heart. It pleases me to hear that everything proceeds as we had hoped. Queen Cymede remains safe here with me in the Dakra Isles, and though I know it irks you that she lives, I once more will stress the importance of it should the need for a new plan arise. Your news that the Cetessans have moved a majority of their warriors out of the city and to the surrounding villages in the hopes of protecting them from further attack, leaving Cetessa vulnerable from within the walls, is most excellent. Their remaining guard will be no match for your Acrosian delegation, once they have consumed the concoction I have prepared for them. See that your warriors are well fed in preparation for the slaughter. Then, once you have Cetessa in your grasp, return to me, my love, and we shall set our sights on Miletus. We shall have to act quickly. Such bold moves from Akros will set them on edge. I remain forever yours, Lady Helene.
Eva, you just hear a quiet. Oh, Eva's not here. Whoops. Eva hears a quiet. Eva's gone.
Lindsay just had to move off for a moment.
Yeah. So Eva, I will relay this to her later, but Callista, you hear a quiet gotcha. Oh. From inside the room. Oh, perfect. Can you hear me, Lindsay? Okay. Eva hears a quiet gotcha. Oh. Ew. And Estrella quickly straightens up, turns, hands you the letter, and says, I have to take this to the meeting. I let Eva read it. I take it back. I go out the door. I show it to Callista. Let her read it. It's time.
Okay.
It's time for Lord Cassian and Lady Estrella to make an appearance at the meeting, and it is time for your very short shift, Sir Guard, to end.
Well, it was certainly an experience. But let's go and
all right.
take care of this
So
guy.
you have your evidence. You exit the building. You meet Kaliuka and Onyx outside.
I will give them each a turn to read the letter as well.
As you head out and start to head back towards the building, you see a hawk, which you know well, begin to fly overhead, which you know means that Phaedra is struggling now to stall the meeting any longer.
I send a telepathic message
so you're heading
to
the meeting?
Yeah. I'll have it go back to her and give her the general idea of we're coming.
Got it. All right. So you head your way to the meeting hall. And are you now yourselves, or is anyone still disguised?
Now, Callista would have taken that as your shift is over. She would have changed back.
Yeah. I feel like we're the heroes of the village. Like, I feel like we'd be okay at the meeting.
I mean, Eva would have waited until they left the building and then gone back.
Yeah. But you're all yourselves. Got it.
My Cassian, you've changed.
Picturing just Cassian walking in and Cassian sat over there and they're just looking at each other like, huh? So you head to the meeting. You get to the doors. There are a couple of guards outside and they're like, oh Lady Estrella, they are expecting. Are you all coming in?
We are.
Yes.
They have important information to share. Along with myself regarding our trip.
Roll whether you're trying to scare them or persuade them, and with advantage because there's all of you going, let us in now.
Very sexy. It doesn't matter which of the two because they're the same modifier. But that is an 18.
Can I?
Lovely.
Oh, I was just
Yeah.
going to argue to use the intimidation check that I had rolled before that we didn't end up using.
I mean, yeah, you are looking exceptionally intimidating. You can keep that and be behind.
Also, you're from here, so like you definitely have
exactly.
Yeah. They look at you, Estrella, and they say, "Oh, she means business," but they're still a little bit. And then their eyes fall on Onyx and that face. They just stand to the side and let you go in. The doors swing open, and as you do, you can just hear Lord Commander Ulysses. He is at the head of the table.
Of course he is.
Cassian, battered and broken, is at his side, and next to him is Alexander Krios. And then on the other side are is Silverbrow and the 4 heads, including Phaedra. And the moment you walk in,
Just to
Phaedra says, "Go on. What are you going to say?"
I was just going to say, just to really shut up that lord and make sure that everyone's eyes are on us, I'm going to be, Kalika is going to be playing the Battle Ravens on the bagpipes as we enter in as this group of women, kind of like looking at him.
Yeah! You get like a dramatic like entrance music.
Fanfare. Now, real quick question. Is there food at this meeting?
There is wine.
Okay, cool. All right, so, sorry, what did Phaedra say?
So Phaedra, as you walk in, is, "Oh, Lady Estrella, so good of you to join us." And she's giving you that intense look of, "Did you find it?" And they all kind of look at you. Lord Commander Ulysses stands. "The heroine of the hour returns. Thank you so much for joining us, Lady Estrella. I understand that you were otherwise engaged, but it is good of you to arrive." And then he kind of clocks the rest of you. I understand that you are all well liked, but this was a private meeting, Lady Estrella.
It certainly was. And yeah, as I give Phaedra an affirming look and also a question of, can I bust his ass? Like, I don't say that, but like, I give her the look.
Onyx is going to step up right behind Estrella in a way of like making it clear to everyone in the room that I have her back, and
like she's small, but I'm not.
Yeah, and I'm going to rest a hand on the pommel of my sword.
Okay, so seeing this and seeing this obvious hostility in the room that is starting to emerge, Alexander Krios is going to stand up and he's going to say, "Lady Estrella, what is the meaning of this? You have been to our meeting late, even though you were quite clearly told the time that you were supposed to be here. We had to postpone it from this morning because of your late arrival."
Trust me, you will thank me.
I wasn't done speaking.
You are now.
Oh. And he just looks at you and he goes, "There better be a very good reason for your impudence, young lady."
Lord Commander, have you ever known me to interrupt a meeting without good reason? I say, looking at Ulysses.
Never, which is why this behavior is so surprising. And he's giving you a look, and he is trying to read you. He is trying to understand what the fuck is happening here.
Well, that's a deception check of a natural 20 somehow. So I am fucking like blank, nothing. Cassian would definitely know this as my face of, I have you exactly where I want you, you piece of shit, whenever I beat him at chess.
Cassian is just in his chair, just looking between you and he's not used to this dynamic. Normally it's the two of you v him. So he's like looking at he has never seen you like spitting feathers in this way. Like, but
and I'm sitting here like shutting both Daddy Ulysses and Uncle Alex up. I'm just like, you are done speaking now. You will thank me. Has anyone had anything to drink today?
Well, we have been drinking the wine.
Would Estrella have interpreted like the letter as like kind of like there's shit in the wine?
seemed more to be aimed towards the men. To the I said the men, the warriors, the Acrosian warriors that had been bought with. They are having a special meal of their own. I feel like Estrella would have probably pinned the two together, as the Lord Commander is probably planning to feed them some horrible concoction that will make them do something.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I have, thanks to the tireless efforts over the last several months of Onyx here and Eva here and Kaliuka and Callista, the same people who delivered nine, right?
9, yeah.
9 of your own looking at the Cetessans from the curse that was afflicting this city. And it turns out that someone at this very table has been making other plans against this city. I will
There's
walk
like
up.
a murmur as you say that, and Alexander Krios is just looking straight at you. The Lord Commander is a little taken aback, and the Cetessan delegation are kind of all looking at each other. Phaedra is just leaning back in her chair. She's got her arms crossed. She's smiling, and waiting for you to continue.
I walk up to Uncle Alex, not breaking eye contact with Ulysses, and I say to Ulysses, I know you have no investment in my future, and you have investment in your son so long as it benefits you. But I think I can speak for all of us when I say that this time, your future is not so certain. Lord Krios, and I hand him the letter for your perusal.
So, Alexander Krios takes the letter and begins to read it, and you can see the Lord Commander's getting, shall we say, itchy. He's kind of, well, what is it? If there is something afoot, we should discuss it here at this table. And
I
then
agree.
Silverbrow says, by all means, Lord Chris, please read it out.
And I'll move back to Onyx to decide all that happens.
We would all love to hear it. And Alexander Chris does not read it out. He reads it through. He looks at you. He folds it up and slides it across to the Cetessan delegation.
The Lord Commander has excellent penmanship. Or, sorry, the Lord Commander's whatever. I don't know.
He turns towards one of the men next to him. And he says, this meal that is to be prepared tonight, I want all of the food burnt. And the soldier behind him is like, you're talking about our food. Like forgets himself for just a second. Like, you're talking about my freaking dinner,
my turkey, my roast turkey,
my roast dinner. And he's like, yes, I want all of it destroyed. You will have a meal, but it will not be that one. I don't think you massively need high insight to see that the Lord Commander is like
shitting his pants.
And he kind of looks at you, Estrella, and he goes, Estrella, what is the meaning of this?
The meaning of this is that you have been found out.
Give me that letter. And he snatches it from a Cetessan that is halfway through reading it.
Quite touching and a little revolting, I might add.
He starts to read it. He kind of looks at it and laughs, and he's like, "It's preposterous. I've clearly been framed."
Oh.
Insight, has he been framed?
Could you imagine if I was like, yes? Cassian's like, yeah. Yeah, roll insight for me.
And actually, at this same time, while this is going on, Callista would have cast detect
25
on him. Just to see
Callista would have cast what?
detect
Detect.
thoughts.
Detect thoughts. Okay. Oh, okay. So does that require a save?
Yeah, she would have pushed further in, and it is a
Of course.
save.
Surface thoughts you can read though, right?
Right, yes.
Surface thoughts are already very
Oh shit, oh shit,
in
oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
essence shit. How has this? It's very like, how has this happened? Basically, how have I been found out? Where did this come from? He's in his head. He's like blaming cat. He's trying to like catalog what on earth could happen. And as you push deeper, what's the save?
It is a wisdom save of spell save of 17.
I rolled a 2. So, he's not mentally fortified right now. You immediately push deeper, and he winces a little because he would be able to feel something probing his thoughts. And he glares around at all of you. He probably assumes it's Estrella, to be honest, because he knows Estrella knows magic. But he glares around at all of you, and you are immediately greeted with a vision of a woman with long blonde hair, beautiful face. She's wearing a red dress that is
Thank God,
luxurious, and it is an island setting. You see there is a beach that extends behind her. There are waves lapping at the shore, on the sea, somewhere. You can kind of even almost smell the salty air. And she is smiling slightly. And you just kind of have this moment where you see that vision. And he kind of like winces, and then the connection is lost. But essentially his surface thoughts are enough that you know he has been found out. He's definitely been up to something bad. He gets up from his chair as you're all reading it, and Alexander Krios turns to him and he goes, I had you down as many things, Lord Commander Ulysses. I had you down as a terrible father above anything.
Single
but I
snap from Estrella.
did not imagine you to be a traitor to our city, to the Krios dynasty. Answer me this. What have you done with the queen? And at this point, like, everyone's aware of the situation. This guy,
if for whatever reason he tries to run, I'm readying a hold person.
And he turns, Lord Commander Ulysses turns to Cassian. And he says, Cassian, this is a trick. I don't know what has happened here, but I have been framed. Say something.
Don't use your son as a shield when you fed him to the trees last night.
Cassian winces a little at you saying that. This is clearly not information he necessarily was hoping to divulge.
Oh fuck. But, hang on. How important would that be to him that I would know?
I feel like it's already been said.
That's fair.
They kind of
Everyone knew.
It was
yeah.
implied that he didn't want to talk about it with you, but Cassian just looks at his father and he says, you are a traitor and nothing more to me. Now, do me a favor and straighten up your uniform before they arrest you. It looks a little crinkled. And he the Lord Commander kind of holds back, like sort of steps backwards, and then he kind of closes his eyes and whispers something.
Hold person. All right, actually, hang on. Do I know if he's a spellcaster?
He's not a spellcaster.
Okay, then yeah, old person. He can make a wisdom save for me. DC 18.
DC 18.
Mhm.
Okay.
When I see Estrella casting, I'm gonna pull my sword.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Hunter's Mark on him.
He rolled a natural 20.
Fuck!
That was the one reaction I was going to give you because you were
That's
already
fair.
holding something.
Can I like burst this thing? Just a hoot from my bagpipes and silvery bobs that
I was only going to allow the one reaction because there was something was already being held.
got it.
As much as that would be badass, unfortunately, no. The necklace around his neck begins to glow. And he, as he disappears before all of your eyes in a sort of, it's almost a swirl of mist. You just hear an echo of, forgive me, my love. And then the mist dissipates and he is gone. There is an immediate flurry of activity as everyone rushes to try to find him. Has he turned invisible? Has he sort of, there's enough knowledge of Arcane to know that people can disappear and reappear like only 30 feet over there or whatever.
Yeah.
But roll an Arcana check for me, Estrella.
Ooh, yay. I'm also going to give Cassian a look that says, I'm sorry. The I'm sorry look. Ooh, 27.
27. That was a powerful spell. That will have whisked him far, far away.
I kind of raise my voice and say, he's gone. Don't waste your energy.
Okay. And with that, as people run to stop this food being put into production, which you later will find out, there was some concoction within that food that would have, after a little testing, it would have essentially turned the Acrosian guards into almost sort of mind-controlled zombies that will have forced them to begin attacking the Cetessan people. It seems not only have you saved the lives of those kidnapped by Arachne, including Onyx's mother, but also the lives of many more here in Cetessa, and they owe you a great debt. Many threads have been followed, some now nicely tied into a neat bow, while others lead to a tangled mess that still needs a little unraveling. One thing is clear, however. The deities are pulling the strings, and it is all of you that they want to restore the balance of this tapestry. As you will recover yourself and begin to think about the next steps that look like they might lead back to Akros before a trip out of Theros and to maybe the Dakra Isles, let us once more glimpse what you all do not see. A beautiful woman with long blonde hair sits and has her hair combed gently by a teenage girl dressed in the garb of a maid. She hummed softly to herself as the distant sound of waves hit the rocks before eyeing the reflection in the mirror. Rebecca, you seem distracted today, of all days. Smile, we are about to achieve a great victory. My apologies, Lady Helene, I slept poorly. If something troubles you, I would rather hear of it. Any secret you have is safe with me. The young girl's eyes the reflection of her lady, before glancing at the statue nearby nervously. Why, my lady, do you insist on keeping that thing? It is, forgive me, rather macabre. Lady Helene smiles deeply. You're right, it is rather gruesome, isn't it? Still, I will not be parted from it. I've grown quite attached. Why do you ask? Oh, my lady, you'll laugh, but just this morning I could have sworn that it spoke to me. There is a subtle but chilling change within the room, and the Lady Helene's smile falters momentarily, before sighing deeply. She closes her eyes. Really, Rebecca, there is nothing to fear. Go ahead and touch it. You'll see. My lady, that won't be necessary. I insist. You're quite safe. A pause as the maid approaches the marble figure, looking at its twisted expression before reaching out and tentatively touching it. For a moment, there is nothing, and Rebecca looks back at her lady with an embarrassed smile. Then the sound of a loud cracking draws her attention back to her fingers. She watches as her skin turns to plaster, flesh to stone. She looks up to scream as what used to be living dies and turns to dust. And as Rebecca leaves the world, the Lady Helene takes a vial from a nearby stand and sweeps the remaining ashy substance into it, addressing the statue. Well now, how on earth will I find a maid quite so reliable as Rebecca? This certainly is a nuisance. Mid-sweep, there is a knock at the door. Lady Helene, Lord Commander Leos is here to see you. A brief silence. Muscles tense, fists clench. Nonsense! Ulysses is expected much later than now. Will you see him, my lady? He says there has been an emergency. The reflection in the mirror becomes bitter, angry, rage-fueled. But by the time she turns towards the door, her expression is fixed with a serene smile. Well then, by all means, send him in. I am certain that there is no mess in the world that can't be fixed. And that is the finale of season 1 of Therosian Odyssey, Strands of Fate. I'm really a little bit sad, like that this is the end. But hopefully we shall be returning soon, and we will see what all of that means. If I could have any raid information that I need to share, so I can see that Sarah's
in the meantime, 3 cheers for our amazing lore mistress.
Oh my god. Heckin' incredible.
Amazing.
This story has been fantastic. Hang tight. I'm dropping raid info in the chat.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so what I will do is, while I get myself together, I'm going to get everyone to really quickly go around. I want you to introduce yourselves, talk about the little things that you've been doing. I know that we are slightly over time. I hope that's okay. Please forgive me, Sarah. And yes, if I start then with Jen.
Oh God, I'm hearts. Hi friends. I am Jen. I, aside from directing all the information technology stuff for GRTW, which, you know, God, it's been so much fun. I have been playing Estrella, your now friendly to everyone, unfortunately, including, I guess, Cassian. Friendly local whiz nerd, half-elven wizard. She has been through one heck of a season. Started out just trying to graduate from wizard college. Ended up in this ridiculous meathead's house along with his shitty dad. And somehow fell in with a bunch of friends, courtesy of one friendly, scared Nyx lion. Has had a very tumultuous relationship with Cassian and is mildly confused about why all of her friends are waggling their eyebrows at her whenever he comes up, and really just still kind of basking in the apology that she will later demand written up, signed, and notarized and delivered to her in a frame. Currently absolutely fuming, like we're talking like steam coming out of her ears, fuming. Feels kind of bad for just, you know, yelling at Ulysses about Cassie in front of the entire meeting, but you know, like she did give Cassie the like, I'm so sorry, I was just so fucking mad look.
Looks like you're gonna have to you know, balance those apologies out.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And she is ready to go hunt his ass down.
All right. Well, that's a good mindset to be in. Is that everything that you want to say about what Jen, real life Jen? Because I feel like that was just a lot of Australia.
That was, yeah, sorry. Real life Jen is pretty boring. My cat peed in my dice bag last night, so that was fun. But other than that, like, my life is pretty boring. I'm just me.
Cool. I will move on then to Joan.
I am Joan. I have been playing Onyx, your Nyxborn Asmar, Paladin of Nilia, with a few levels on Rogue as well. And Onyx is very happy to have her moms back home and together again, and is super thrilled about all that and ready to fuck some people up if they come for her town. And you can find Joan specifically as the Rogue Senna on all the socials, and you can find me hanging out with Free Black Halflings. Stay tuned for possible developments on that angle. And the song that you heard Onyx humming a few times and even singing during this episode is called Battle Ravens. Actually called Battle Ravens. It is a real song, and you can go look it up, and I highly recommend it.
Great song. Cool. Let's go then to Kumi next.
Hello, I am Kumi, and you can find me at Kumi Curiosities. It's been an absolute pleasure playing Kalyuka, and it's just been really fun playing a melee class that necessarily didn't have to do much fighting. So that was a lot of fun. My
this time.
Yeah, this time. Also, like, thank you, Kat, for giving me some deep feelings. A lot of deep feelings resurfaced with a lot of the family elements in this, especially with, I don't know, there's just so many things, and the character development has just been fantastic this whole season, I think, for all of us. And oh my god, it was nice to see Callista also finally open her door. So that was great. And you can also see me on a new Girls Run These Worlds campaign starting day after tomorrow at like, I think about half an hour after this show's timings. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see all of you there as well. Thank you for having me. And yeah, that's from me.
All right. Let's go to Lindsay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lindsay. I've been playing Eva, your Kenku Ranger / rogue / sketchy person of the dark. This is Jacob. This is my Eva inspiration. She got out of her cage, and that's why I had to run away for a minute, because she was terrorizing the dog.
And she's doing just fine. Gotta be down because I want it all.
But when I'm not here, I am running an anime cosplay store in downtown Belleville, Ontario, called Doki Doki. And I might have a break for the next couple of months. If anyone wants me to join in any of their games, feel free to reach out to me. I have some freedom until maybe the new year, when something might be happening, but who am I to say? It's been amazing to have you all here playing along, watching with us, investing in the story, the love triangles, the secrets, and I'm looking forward to maybe some more. Who knows?
All right. Last but not least, let's go to Lulu.
Hi, I'm Lulu. I have been playing Callista, the half or at least part Triton human cleric, who is very excited about what she saw in the Lord Commander's mind about maybe going to the islands, because she has always wanted to be out on the sea. She's really still not sure why or who brought them all together. She knows she was, told to bring them together, but she's not quite sure which god or goddess is pulling the strings, but she is looking forward to finding out more. When I'm not here, I generally am just on Twitter painting minis and creating scenes, which I will hopefully within the next couple weeks, a little late, but have 1 or 2 done for scenes from this campaign. Life got in the way of getting it done before this campaign was over, but I'm looking forward to getting those minis finished painting and getting some scenes created. And
They're not late.
me.
They'll arrive exactly when they're meant to.
Yep.
Yeah.
A mini is never late, Mr. Baggins.
All right. I will briefly go over me, and then I've got a few announcements, and then we will head off. I am Kat, the Law Mistress. Otherwise, on Twitter, you'll find me as LawMistress93. I do writing and editing. Please feel free to get in touch if you are in need of any of those services. I blog about D&D and tabletop role-playing games, and I stream as well. Obviously, the stream is now ending. Tears, 1,000 tears. But I will also be streaming every other Thursday on VA Redemption's channel. I play in a cyberpunk actual play, and I play as Siren, call sign Siren. Definitely not a character based on The Little Mermaid at all.
Isn't her name Ariel?
Her name is Ariel. Her call sign is Siren. So I'll just quickly do some announcements. So in terms of what we are currently casting for, we are currently casting for Wish We Weren't Here, which is a limited series. It's going to be Arnica X Ross as your storyteller. Very, very excited for that one. The graphic looks really fun, and it's going to be a 2-season limited series, so it's going to be really cool. Mondays 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. ET. We are starting new shows this week, one of which is Kumi's Game. Remind me which day it is on, Kumi?
It's on Tuesdays.
Tuesday. Cool. So yeah, Kumi's Game is D&D. It's gonna be a terrifying carnival, spectacular clowns. If those things are things you hate, you should still watch them anyway. And you know, live a little, be scared. I wrote an entire story about spiders, despite being arachnophobic, so none of you have any excuse. There's that, and then there is also Philippa, very dear friend of mine, Philippa, is going to be DMing Mice in the Herb Garden, which is a Mouse Ritter adventure, and I'm so excited. I love Mouse Ritter so much. It looks so adorable. And I know that Philippa is exceptionally talented as well. So everyone should definitely go and watch that. Do I have any other? Arcane Corpse Monster of the Week tomorrow night as well. So episode 2 of season 2. So yeah, we've got a busy old week with new things starting and see episode 2 as well. That's not too far in. So lots of exciting shows happening. We will now be raiding into Thorny Dryad. They're playing Masks, a new generation. And Anna is a player. One of our Girls Run These Worlds alumni is a player with Gaynor as the GM. So we are very, very excited to be raiding into that. And if that is everything, I don't think I've forgotten anything else. I will say goodbye. We will all say goodbye and hopefully see you again relatively soon. Okay, last time we're doing spider fingers. I'm gonna cry. Bye everyone. Thank you so much for watching. We really enjoyed having you here.